Previously on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with Brian H. Waters.
I can do more. I know I can challenge myself. And even when it's uncomfortable, it's okay. Like, just know it's going to be okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Breaking Through Glass Ceilings with new projects. And for the first time, I am bringing on a recurring guest, the one and only Miss Danny J. Martin. Danny, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Brian. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for, first of all, letting me know I'm the first one like 5 minutes ago. So no pressure or anything. No, but I'm super excited to be here. I'm honored because I've been watching you and you've just been doing a tremendous job. So I just want to say, like, keep going. Like, you are connected to people and it's just amazing. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, it was episode 9 when you were here before, and things have changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Look, my hair look different. Everything's different.
I know, right? And see, it was like, I think we just recorded through the Anchor app at the time, or maybe Skype.
Yes.
You know,
We go way back.
Right. You know, we both got better microphones. Obviously, you got the heavy hitter. You know, so
Oh my gosh.
you know, before we jump into what you're doing now, how you been? How are you feeling?
Man, I will say, like, I'm truly blessed. Like, I have been in this grateful, like, just grateful mood lately, you know, where, you know, you go to work and certain things may bother you sometimes, but the goodness of God, I'm not going to preach or nothing, but like, really, I mean, I'm just at peace with a lot of things. And I just think it comes with acceptance. So I feel good, man. I feel really good. The last time we did this episode, yeah, a lot has changed.
It was really right before the world spun out. It was like literally at the break of the pandemic.
Definitely. Man, that was an interesting time because during that time I was still at the news station. So I was reporting and even reporting during that time was crazy. I'm not going to lie. Like, we went from working out of a garage to working from home, doing live shots from home. Like, it was just crazy.
Yeah. And you know, that time you were you had just landed the job right before we went to Miami. And it's crazy. Just, I mean, so much things have happened since that NABJ 2019. You know, last year was the first one in person, and it was the what you call it, the workshops to me didn't hit the way they did in Miami.
Right.
But it was nice to finally see faces.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, we had 2 virtual conferences. Did you do any of the virtual conferences?
I did like the first one, and then to be honest, I kind of fell off because around that time, like, that's where everyone, like the entire world was getting used to, you know, talking to people via Zoom. Nowadays, it's just like, yeah, let's get on a Zoom call. Let's virtually do it. So I would say I started out in the beginning and then kind of fell off a little bit there. So like I said, since 2019, a lot has changed. Your girl has battled through some hills and valleys, but good things came out of it. So
yeah, definitely good things definitely came out of it. You know, like, you know, we talked about before, we're not going to let everybody be privy to the whole conversation, obviously.
That's between us.
Facts. But, you know, I watched your glow up, you know, and I have to say, you know, I'm proud, and that's why I was, you know, happy you accepted the invitation to come back on, because, you know, like I said, the last time we talked, was talking about reporting in the field, and you know, you know, doing the traditional journalism. But, you know, since then, I remember there was a time you started this brand new podcast, Behind the Spotlight. So, you know, let's talk to the people about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So don't know really where to start, but definitely want to start from the beginning because you're right. 2019, I moved to Topeka, Kansas to start my journalism career. And it was like, I don't know, I hit the lottery at that time because you already know, Brian, like, getting in the news industry was a difficult task, right? And so to finally break in, right, like break that glass ceiling to get into the news industry was an accomplishment for me. So I would say like back then, and I remember it was 10 months before I actually got in from graduating from my master's. And so I worked at a local TV station called WWW, started out as a weekend reporter, moved into a weekend anchor super quick. It was like 6 months into reporting. They put your girl at the desk. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I came to be a reporter, but that experience challenged me in so many different ways to where I think from the outside looking in, I was really admiring journalism at the time because, Robin Roberts was still is, ultimate, mentor from afar. Haven't met her yet, but that day will come. But she literally inspired me to kind of like bring in that vulnerability into the news industry. But it was interesting because I was learning a lot about the news industry being in it. And that was figuring out who I am. And I think that's a big part of any job that you do. And I think the news industry really has this stigma of turning people into something they're not. Ooh. And that's what I was becoming, not me. And so I felt at that time that, there's so many things that journalists go through and, we're getting bullied. We're getting, all of these crazy emails that people have no idea. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I got criticized for my hair for so many times. I was trying to figure out the wig thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to make it look all straight and stuff. Look, y'all, I'm back to my natural hair. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. And I remember I would get, my news director would even tell me like, we're getting some viewers complaining about your hair. I said, well, are you going to pay for it? But there was just a lot of bullying. I think that took place in the news industry. So it really inspired me. And honestly, too, I felt called to create this platform at the time that was called Behind the Spotlight, because I wanted to shed light to journalists at the time to share their stories about the mental health that they were battling, the challenges and the things that people just really don't know that talent go through when it comes to being in the news industry. Like, it is so hard to be a personal figure in the community. So I wanted to create that platform. Again, at the time, I didn't know what the heck I was doing with it. I was just like, interview your friends that's in the industry. And that's what I did. It was like I interviewed 4 people and I just started there. Over time, I realized, let's turn this into a platform to where we can have like these real conversations that people are not having that need to be had. Like, I was just like, let's shed light on, personal battles, personal challenges. And one of the big topic I kept getting was people trying to find who they were. And I was trying to find who I was at the time too. So then I started that Becoming series. And then that was the first thing that kind of took off. And, who are you becoming? What does that look like? And again, interviewing my friends, because I felt as if we were all going through that at the same time. And then recently launching Overcoming, because in order to become, you have to overcome. But I sat with some, really authentic individuals that talked about their past, their present, and their future, on how they overcame challenges to become who they are today. And then that kind of opened doors and conversations to, things that people were dealing with behind closed doors, and how it really started in childhood. Because nowadays people are realizing that who you are is based on who you came from. Right. Your parents and all of that. So unpacking all of those things is what we did recently. And then you saw I sat in the hot seat, which was weird, because, usually we're interviewing people. And so for me to put myself there, I think I wanted to showcase that this is a serious platform. This is not me just putting on this thing just to get likes and comments and all these different things, but to show that I am still learning too. I don't have all the information. I don't have all the answers, but I want to showcase the significance of being authentic, because when I was in that space where I felt like my identity was a little bit stripped and I felt like I was being something I wasn't, I feel like, and I still feel that God is calling me to push my authenticity more now than ever. And I will say it is so uncomfortable because half the time I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's a long drawn out answer. I apologize, but
No, don't apologize. This is
I
about
feel like
you.
it's important to know like the root of like where it came and how, even now, why I even got out of the news industry and things like that. So
How hard was it to get out of the news industry for you? Because, like you said, Robin Roberts is like one of your mentors, and you obviously this is something you wanted to do for a long time.
yeah.
How difficult was it to essentially walk away? And when did you know it was time to walk away?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was a very challenging time because during that time, I felt God was calling me to transition into this new space, not even understanding what that space looked like at the time. But I knew He was calling me to get out. And it was hard because just imagine, like, you have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your kids are like tugging on you, like, Daddy, take me to the candy store, take me to the candy store. And you're like, we'll go eventually. Like, just wait, I got to finish this, right? You're telling them, like, I'm going to take you. I got you. You know what I mean? And then a week goes by, a month goes by. And then basically you just don't fulfill that dream ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they're like just angry with you, right?
Yeah.
But then you finally take them to the candy store, maybe like a month later. You finally get some time, maybe 2 weeks, because you're not about to wait that long. But you eventually take them. And so then they look at you and they're like, oh my gosh, all the time that they were waiting to get to the candy store goes out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just take that analogy and put it to life. And I will say this. So I've had this long time dream to be featured on Good Morning America,
Yep.
right? Well, to be working there. And now I have this like perspective and vision to where they'll be interviewing me one day. But so to see that dream and to see that, what I was told, and Brian, in the news industry, they tell you have to climb the ladder. You have to go from the small market to the medium market to the large market. Like that's just how, like, that's the roadway. There's nowhere else to go, right? They say you can't even get to the top unless you are in the news industry. That's what we were told at the time. Nowadays, influencers, people are creating what they want on social media. And now influencers are the ones that are getting the jobs, are the ones that are getting featured on these high marketing news channels, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
like that, myth is no longer true. So going back to the news industry, it was something I know I had to trust God in. And I knew at the time was very difficult because it was as if He was taking a childhood dream away from me. So how do you trust God in a season when He promised you something that it's going to come into fruition? What do you do? Right. And so I think more importantly, and then even the idea of being in Topeka till this day, now I'm like, I love it. Your girl was like, I'm not going to be in Topeka for more than 3 years. It's like, for real, like
Mm-hmm.
I had my life planned out. And to even put on the record, I was applying to other places. I got, different offers from other places, but God was like, if you move, I'm going to take my hand off of you. You need to stay here. And so at the time, I was even trying to understand, what is it about Topeka that you want me to grow from or do? Because it's like, if you're calling me to stay, if God is calling you to stay in a certain place, it's for a reason. So I had to do a lot of digging, a lot of praying. And so what I'm learning now is that Topeka is my striving place. Like it's my hiding place that's going to become my striving place. And so I think that it's, a place where God wants me to develop. He wants me to learn Him. He wants me to understand His word, because where He's calling me is going to require me to lean on Him. Because when you get to new levels, you introduce yourself to new devils. Like, it just comes with it. But
Mm-hmm.
our society looks at success like it's a microwave moment. And if I post one video today, I'm going to get there tomorrow. And that
Right.
is just not true. And first of all, like, be careful what you're asking for, because you hear me talk about this in my episode, that you ask for a platform, but you don't even know what you're asking for, because it can change your character, like, for real. So understanding that God literally said to me, I want you to stay here so I can mold you, so I can revive you, so I can renew you. And there was a lot of things, Brian, I will say, that he has revealed to me, like how impatient I was, and how I would just get irritated by certain things, and working with people that you have to learn how to get along with now, because you might see that face later on, you
Right.
know? So it's just like, I think people have to really ask God a different question, instead of asking, like, when is it my turn? How about, how can I serve you? What is it that you want me to learn here? And I think I was asking him for the wrong things at the wrong time. And even in the Bible, it says that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in a specific season. So if you are asking for something out of season, you're going to get it prematurely. Would you want to be pregnant with something and have your baby prematurely, or would you want to wait the 9 months and have your baby to be fully developed? We all have to go through a development stage.
Wow, you dropping gems right here. That's a word. If somebody, not to say go to church or don't go to church, but if they don't, they got what they need right there. A little bit of food right there, I should say. Um,
Definitely.
so you've transitioned into day to day in the finance industry.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Yep.
what was that transition like? Because it's no longer news, and it's no longer constantly looking on social media to figure out what's the trending topic and
Right.
everything. And granted, at a time when you was in news, it was a lot of heavy stuff going on. You're
Definitely.
talking about the pandemic, you're talking about the everything going on
George Floyd.
with George Floyd
Mm-hmm.
and all the racial stuff going on. How
Definitely.
What's the transition been like? Is it easier? Is it
Mm-hmm.
difficult? Like, what's it been like?
So I really love this question, because it's so interesting how, like, when you're transitioning into a new environment, right? Like,
Mhm.
you don't know what it looks like. Like, I will say, like, God was literally transitioning me into a foreign country. Like, your girl is a TV host and a radio host now. Officially got my radio show on Monday, but
Let's
a radio
go.
host and a producer for a financial company. So I host financial advisors. They come to Topeka. I basically do some, like, financial marketing for them, and we host them in our studio, and then they go and they promote their commercial wherever they're featured. And that can be, in Connecticut, Seattle, Boston, Atlanta, like all over the world, right? And
Mhm.
so again, thinking back to my comment that I made earlier, how, like, you think that you want something, but you don't know what it comes with, right? But then realizing, like, I was asking for a national platform, but he already gave it to me. So it's
Mm.
like, what are you asking for, and how do you not see that? So transitioning into a financial marketing company has been the most challenging thing I've gone through, because I've gone through depression. Your girl is 28 years old. I'm not thinking about retirement, like, I don't even know, like, what at the time, really. I would say I'm coming up on my 1 year, but at the time I didn't know, what this transition was going to look like.
Mhm.
So again, going back to, it required me to lean on him and what he was calling me to do. But to go back to your question, what I'm learning is really the development of my character, the
Mhm.
patience it's taking for me to learn a new skill. I think sometimes we go to college and we really think that the reality of this new job. Like, this is all we're going to have to use, right? Like, we're taught to use, your voice and learn how to put together a camera and all these different things. But no one is teaching you how to work with other people. No one is teaching you, like, when it comes to learning something new, you got to be innovative. You got to take ownership, and you also got to do the right thing. And that comes with doing something you don't want to do. And so I think that, like, in this transition, I learned so much about just myself, like really myself, and staying true to that and making sure that the world was not changing me. And I will say, like, the financial marketing realm, right? Like, to be honest, and I say this so humbly, but it's like, I'm working with some millionaires, right? And to see, like, how to interact with them, and to see how they're even probably the most humble people too. Like, I run into a lot of people that are humble, graceful, but then you got some arrogant ones, and you got some, stuck up and prideful, right? But learning to work with all types of people, because understanding the realm that he's calling me in requires me to know who he is. So when someone's trying to test my character, when someone is trying to push me out of my self, I know how to stay still. Yeah. And so I think, like, when you are transitioning to a foreign country, I encourage you to be still. I encourage you to remind yourself of who you are, because I think I was really in depression because I couldn't go to anyone. I feel like no one could understand me. I'm like, calling my mom. I'm talking to Michael, my boyfriend, and I'm like, how do I operate like this? I wanted to get out. I was like, God, like, why are you putting me here? Like, for what? And most importantly, he was just saying to me over and over, like, trust me, trust me, trust me. And even learning how much I didn't trust God. Like, you can say, I got faith in him. Okay. I want you to really ask yourself, do you have faith in him? Like, if he were to put you in a foreign country, like, for real, like, if you were to go to Africa or China or something, I don't know, somewhere else, like, you were uncomfortable with, and you are literally there by yourself, how would you learn a new skill? How would you learn Chinese? How would you learn a new language? You have to study. And really, more than anything, he humbled me in a way, because I was used to using my face. I was used to being like, all right, I'm here. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? God said no. He took that away. He said no. You got to learn how to use your voice. You got to learn, what is it like to be number 2? What is it like to be number 3? What is it like to be the last person that people are not thinking about? But it's interesting, because even though he was humbling me in that space, he was still giving me the desires of my heart. So yes, I work at 8 to 5, but in that, it's very flexible. My work and life balance, you already know, if you're a news anchor in the news industry, honey, that lifestyle is not for the weak. And I still, commend the people that are in it, but it's not for the weak at all. Like, you got to have tough skin. But I even feel like I'm learning even tough skin in a different way. But most importantly, like, he is teaching me to really be patient here, right? And help me learning how to use my voice in a different way, where it doesn't require me to just be about the desires of my heart. So I have the opportunity to go out still and be a part of community events. I can MC other community events. I can still meet with the people. So it's like, even when I thought he was taking me away from something, he was really still elevating me in a different way. So it's interesting.
Man, that is powerful.
I feel like I would just be talking, but hopefully I got something out of that.
No, trust me. They did. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce that I am an affiliate of Rogue Energy Drink. That is the world's #1 gaming energy drink. So, if you're looking for a safe supplement to drink to give you a boost, whether you're working out or if you're a gamer and you're spending a lot of time, we all know it can get very intense and you may tend to sweat. You need to re-up on your energy, or you're a podcaster, because guess what? the same amount of energy that they're putting into video games, we're putting into podcasting. Simply go to rogueenergy.com and enter the coupon code BrianH and save 10% off on your purchase. You can also click the link in the episode. It might be easier for you, but save 10% off any purchase on the website. One of the things I want to ask you before we get out of here is, I know, like myself, you're very close with your family. Like if you follow,
Oh my gosh.
if
Yes.
you follow Danielle on social
Yes.
media, you see her beautiful family, her mom, her dad. How hard was it not to go back home? And
Yeah.
I guess the real question is, how hard was it to be disciplined and listen to God? Because I know what it's like. You're away and
Oh
you
my
want to
gosh.
be right there with them. So
Yes.
how did you go about maintaining that discipline?
Oh, that is a really good question. Like, that is a really good question because, I'm the youngest of 6 and God bless my siblings, but, we all grew up in church. But I would say I'm like the most consistent person in church right now. They all still believe, but it's okay. Like, I still love them.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just different. But I will say that what really kept my discipline was changing my environment.
Okay.
It was my circle, I will say, because why I call Topeka my home now, and even praying for the right people, I said, okay, God, if you want me to stay here, I need you to bring me the people that I need in order to grow.
Real
right?
quick.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you said it that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't think a lot of people understand that you can like really talk to God like that.
Oh,
like you
Definitely.
have to, like, essentially your best friend, and you have to have those conversations. Everybody thinks it's just, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
no,
I'm so glad you made it so authentic and transparent.
Yes. First of all, I will say and put this on the record, like, your relationship with God is your relationship with God. So some people can receive him literally like through social media. That's like for a fact, like through like, virtual connection, through song, through talking to people, through, sermons. Like, of course, like, you have to understand his word. You can't just like be listening to everybody. Like, you have to know the word of God. And like, when you hear it, but you have to, again, understand, like, how does your relationship operate? Like, for example, like, he really connects, he really talks to me through people, through worship songs, and through sermons.
Okay.
Like those 3 things, So it's like understanding like how he talks to you, but for sure, like through people, like he know I need physical form sometimes. I'm like, I need, so definitely like changing my environment, because like I said, like being disciplined and I'm still learning that, to be honest with you. Like, I am still processing and understanding, like, what does discipline look like when it comes to the word of God, when it comes to being consistent. We just talked about this before the show, like being consistent in your gift. Like, you can't play around. I heard something today that I want to share. It said the greatest time that you waste is the time it takes for you to start. Literally. I was like, oh, you coming at me. Like, you speaking to me. Right. And so I know sometimes people may say like, oh, like, you're a go-getter and you go after the things that you want, but only if you knew when I had that thought. Like, right now, I have all these thoughts about what I want to create, and you probably won't see it till like next year, like, honestly, because I need time for it to just groom a little bit. I need to make sure like this is in his alignment. I need to make sure like, just make sure it's good, right? Before it just goes out there. Because I think, again, we live in this generation where we got to put stuff out tomorrow. Like, you have to really be still in your now. Like, okay, this is another thing I want to share too. What really saved me in my transition of like staying in Topeka and helping me get through and being disciplined was this sermon by Mike Todd, Here is Holy. I really encourage people who are trying to navigate what this next season looks like. If they're trying to move, if they're trying to, get to this next job, or they feel like they need to start a business, whatever that looks like. where you are now is like, I promise you, where you're supposed to be. This is from a person who really desired to get out, like desire to get out of this place of like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, this is not for me. I'm not a Topeka girl. Like, I'm from the city. Like, what you mean? You know what I mean? Like, having this prideful thinking of who am I to stay in a small town? Like, I really thought that, you know? Until literally he had to humble me and say, like, who are you not to stay? Because I need you to be still so I can use you to show people that I can elevate you from a small place. Gosh.
You spoke to me.
You can't despise your small beginnings, Brian. We talk about this all the time. Like, you just cannot. And just because you're not being seen right now does not mean that nobody's seeing you.
Facts.
You can't. You have to keep going. You have to be consistent. Whatever you're consistent in, whatever you are passionate about, you have to keep that going, even when no one is looking. And I'm probably talking to myself right now because sometimes your girl will just be like, okay, I like stayed up all night to put together the content, to put together the video. And it's like, okay, well, where is it at? You know, like.
I'm going to share a story.
I want to hear it.
I told you about the process of getting to the Ringer and being a producer of the Ringer Wrestling Show. Well, you talk about staying up all night. My schedule when I was at Johns Hopkins would be pretty much 9 to 5, but having children, getting up early, got to take them to school, come home, cook for them, make sure they're good, right? So, and then I still had to be a dad, obviously. So it wasn't just, dude, you had to spend time with them. So there was a lot of Monday nights when WWE Raw comes on, or at the time it was Tuesday. I would sit there after the kids go to bed, watch wrestling, get on the microphone, do a show, 20, 30 views, 10, 15, 20 listens on a podcast, and you sit there and you're like, okay, I gotta be consistent. And then have to get up, work Johns Hopkins. And sometimes be at work, scheduling tweets or interacting on social media.
Look, I know that life.
And I did that, and I didn't know there ever would be an opportunity for me to work in wrestling full time. And then in April 2021, and the crazy part is, I thought I was getting ready to go to Texas, not move, but I was thinking, like, I was really talking with my former manager who had left right around the time, shortly after that NABJ. She had left to go take a position in Dallas, and she was recruiting a bunch of us that worked there. And we was trying to figure out a hybrid situation. Ended up that didn't work out. So now I'm like, man, now what's going to happen?
Right.
April, I get a message. Hey, man, we got some stuff cooking at the Ringer. Might be, we're going to be looking for WWE producers. What? And then after that, boom, I got the job. And then a year later, they told me, we won't give you your own show. And I'm like, wow. And I would tell people, it started with me constantly trying to figure, just being consistent. And like you said, might not have a million eyes on you.
Right.
But the right ones, because you never know who's watching.
Right.
So
I'm curious. I have a question for you. During that process, while you were, creating and doing all the things, did you find out more of like who you are and like how you wanted to create?
Oh, absolutely. I looked at it from, when I first started the wrestling show, well, I should say rebranding it, because we had started in college, and then I knew, all right, you know what? I'm listening to wrestling podcasts. I want to put a podcast wing under this. My co-host said we couldn't schedule consistent time to do the show. We hadn't figured out the virtual side yet. So, but I knew I had the itch. I wanted to get back out there. And over the time, I learned, just I got more comfortable on the microphone. I
Mhm.
got more comfortable producing and planning. And as social media is evolving,
Yeah.
I'm evolving. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot. And then even taking it from just audio to audio and video.
Right. Right. No, I think that's dope because I'm just asking because I think even too, I was listening to Sarah Jakes Roberts and she was saying how this society wants you to go like beast mode for, just go beast mode, go hard, like culture tells you to rush. So you feel like you need to like rush the process. And she said, don't go beast mode, go be mode, which means like
Mm,
figure out who you need to be, who do you
mm,
need to become in order to operate to your fullest potential. And so it was like, a light bulb went off because I said, wow, like that is powerful because, yes, it is so true that there's a lot of creators, people like you and I, who are working full time jobs, entrepreneurship on the side, doing some other passions over here. So when you're putting out all, like you're pouring your life really in a space where no one is looking, that's where they say like that's where you figure out who the strong people versus the weak people
right.
because people who are really staying up all night, putting in that extra effort, those are the people that are going to like 10x their passion. Like that's really the overnight success. But really, these people have been working for like a year. And so
Hmm.
I told myself, I said, Danielle, just go hard for like 1 year, like for real, like go hard, even when no one is looking, even when you talk about like the 20 and 30 people, I even had to remind myself, like, pour into those people, like give
Yeah.
it your all, because those people could really like quadruple, you know? But I think
Hmm.
sometimes like the numbers get to us because it's like you see what everyone else is doing, you see all the other numbers and things like that. So it starts to like fill in you. And anytime I start to like feel that in my head, I'm like take a step back, I like get off for the day, like I literally like cleanse for a
Hmm.
whole like 24 hours or 48 hours, and then I remind myself like, okay, this is my why. Like
Yeah.
my why is to help other people make an impact where they are, and like getting stronger. And like your mission, like what is your mission for you, not for your business, but what is your mission for you? Because when you know who you are, when you know like, okay, this is why I'm living, then you start to, I'm telling you, your actions start to be different.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And sometimes like the wrestling community, it can be very niche, but
Mhm.
it's a lot to it, right? And
Definitely.
we was at Wale Mania, and I had like people come up to me, hey man, I know you're on a ringer show, but I've been
Mhm.
following you since the wrestling realm. And I'm always like, I never look at it like, oh, oh yeah, of course you do. I could never be that person. I'm always gonna be the one that will, if somebody like, even we had a meet and greet, and I remember at one point I was like, "Wow, there's a
Yeah.
meet and greet to see us before
Yeah.
Wale Mania." Like,
That's
and
dope.
I'm one of the featured people, and people coming up to me, reminding me of crazy stuff I said on the
Mhm.
show, or
You're like,
stuff
I
that,
said that.
yeah, or takes they agree with. It's like, um,
Yeah.
and it's humbling, and it was also like you said, like pour into those people. I'm glad you said that because that's what somebody else told me one time. We see 27 views, but think of
Yeah.
it like you got 27 people in a room listening to you.
That's
And
good.
and you pour into them,
Yeah.
one person could be it's a lot of times there's people who look forward to your content every week
Definitely.
because they might not tweet about it. They might
Mhm.
not never post about it. It was one time
At
when
all.
even I was at Johns Hopkins, and it was during the we was doing the HIV positive transplant. One of the patients was
Mhm.
doing that. So we was doing the media relations with it. And me and my friend Marin, who was my manager at the time, we were getting ready to pick up the patient, and I was like, "Well, I'll go because I used to work at Hopkins before in nutrition about
Yeah.
13 years prior, so I knew all the shortcuts around the hospital."
Yeah.
And so we sitting there, and this guy comes across, and he's like, "Hey, Brian, what's up, man? I listened to the show the other day." Didn't know who he was,
Yeah.
until like he tweeted me. I was like, "Oh," because everybody don't
Right.
handle, everybody don't use the same profile. So I'm like, wow. And then Marin goes, "Look at you, famous. You always know somebody." But you
Mhm.
never know just because people
You
aren't
never know,
posting,
man.
don't mean they not. And a lot of times, like I said, I was in the gym and I'm listening
Mhm.
to your episode with, your boyfriend's asking you, like I said, ask you all the right questions. And I'm
Oh my
wow.
gosh.
And I text you about things like, wait, you? Like, no, come on. And
So many people said that to me. They're like, I never thought you would be a dark thinker. I'm like,
because
y'all don't even
you have
know.
such a light though. And I noticed this when we first met in
Thank
person
you.
in Miami, like if you brighten people's day like that,
Yeah, I
you
appreciate
don't.
that.
Oh, absolutely. You don't come off like, oh, I am this, that, and the other, right? You was on a
Mhm.
panel about needing an agent. And
Yeah.
then
Oh my
afterwards
God.
talking to
Oof.
everybody, just laughing and joking and everybody, and it's
Brian, let
easy
me
to
say,
be there
like,
with.
the growth is real, man. Oh my God. Even just
Uh,
looking back, like, you ever just look back at yourself and be like, what were you doing? Why did you, wear makeup? Okay, you're not wearing makeup, but like, you just be looking at yourself
Da-
like,
Danny, I lost what,
wow,
40 pounds last year. So yeah, this some stuff I'll
man,
be
you
like,
look good. Okay.
thank you.
You
Thank
look
you.
good. Like,
It
I
was
never seen you smile so much. Dang. Okay. Like, I know about that smile.
oh, the hidden gems, the
I'm just
hidden gems.
playing.
I love it. No, I love it. But you see the glow up, right? And like I
Yeah.
said, you brighten up the room, and you was talking to people, and just making sure everybody had a good time. And so,
Well, I
like when you
appreciate
was,
that.
some of the stuff you was talking about, I want people to listen to the episode. I'm going to put a link in the description so they go listen to it and subscribe, and make sure they give you 5-star ratings on Apple and Spotify.
Look, thank you. Look, this one
Boost
too.
the
Y'all know what
algorithm.
to do.
Yeah,
This
boost
one
the
too.
algorithm. But, so and I'm sitting there like, wow, my friend was going through all of this. And of course, we always
Yeah,
think like, well, why didn't, reach out? You know what I mean? But
right.
a lot of times in those dark times, it's just
Mhm.
easy to. So
Yeah,
give you your props and, just tell you
thank you.
how proud I am of you.
I appreciate that, man. Like, it really is, a season I feel like changed my life
Mhm.
because, like you said, you never know what people are going through, and I think most importantly, like, people who are, social media facing, like, daily, I really think those people should be checked on. People like you, people, influencers, whoever is out there, because you just never know what someone is going through. And I think that is so easy to put on a facade because it's just what we're used to. And to be honest, like, to get even deeper, like, I just grew up in a house to where the saying was, what happens in this house stays in this house. And so,
Mhm.
like, whatever you battle with, like, no one needs to know. Like, you just take care of that on your own. And even when it came to dating Michael, when we first started dating, I was like coming in with a very hard heart, like very hard. Like, he cannot break this wall. Woo! It was like bad, man. And so I think around that time, there was just a lot of like breaking and
Mhm.
releasing. And again, that goes back to being in your hiding place, because just imagine if I was on a platform even higher, like developing through all this, going through all this. Like, so that's why I say, like, be careful what you ask for, because people are asking for platforms, but you don't know what it takes to get there. But
Yep.
also, you just don't know what you are capable of, like, battling through in front of millions of people. And I know, like, what I was dealing with, I would have not been able to. I would have been like taken down, like, for sure. Like, I just
Mm.
know I would have. But what I learned through that was God was calling me into an obscurity season. And so what that looks like is where I'm going to, like, literally cover you. I'm going to
Mhm.
put you in the basement where nobody can see you so I can heal your heart. I had to go through a lot of healing that I'm still managing and battling through with my family,
Mm.
healing through with my family. And then also, like, there was just a lot of decisions that I think the younger Danielle, I did not forgive myself, right? There was a
Mm.
lot of things that I was trying to heal from, but I was masking it as if
Mhm.
like no one is ever going to rip back this Band-Aid. But it's almost like, Michael always say, it's like, you got this messy closet that you just think you can just keep putting stuff in. Eventually, you're going to have to clean some stuff out. Like you're just going to have to like clean everything out of that closet because it eventually has to go. You
Yeah.
eventually have to move. And so when you move to other environments and when you gain a higher education and when you realize that you are experiencing things that are new, it comes with cleaning, it comes with cleansing.
Mhm.
And so I just think back to like the analogy really of like a plant, right? And so like when you're planting seeds in certain spaces, it has to bloom. And in order for it to bloom, you have to water it. You can't bloom from a dry space. You just can't. And so in order for it to bloom, you have to water it. So how are you watering yourself? How are you
Mhm.
pouring into yourself? Are you giving yourself quiet time or are you just jumping up on your phone and looking at social media? Are you being still with your thoughts or are you drinking your thoughts away? Are you smoking your thoughts away? Like these are just real questions like you got to ask yourself. Like why are you avoiding that thought? Why are you avoiding that conversation? You need to have it. You need to address it because that is what's going to heal you.
Mhm.
There's something on the other side of that. And whatever you're trying to avoid, you have to address it because I promise you, you will feel so much better.
Wow. You've been
Man,
dropping gems. Now you talk about the glow up, and I mean you dropped gems on the last episode
nah, I don't
9. So I
think
hope, but no, you
so.
did. But my God,
No, man, I'm just excited about life and I'm just excited
yeah.
for where like God has me. And I'm just no longer just holding back no more, man. I feel like I was holding back a lot. And it's
Well,
just
see,
like I'm not.
and like I said, you was yeah. Oh man, let's let the before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you.
Well, you can follow me at all social media platforms, Danielle J. Martin TV on Instagram, on Facebook, and even on YouTube. Your girl don't really use Twitter, so no need to go there. Just no need. But
You don't like
check out
Twitter?
the Instagram.
I think the message needs to get there too, though, because you
I know.
like I said, these gems.
Look,
But then again, way Elon been Elon, and so
Brian, Twitter be giving me anxiety. It's just too much.
okay, I understand.
It's just too much thoughts. I'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah, uh-uh. No, but I'm
Uh,
super excited for you, man. And I just want to say,
thank
like,
you.
keep going, keep striving towards like where you are really called to be. Cause I see you, man. I'm gonna see you at the top.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna have to have a trip to Topeka, and we can
What? Come
all link up.
see. We get
Absolutely.
down.
Yeah, because I've never been. So, and I want to hit all 50 states before I leave this earth. So,
Definitely. Don't be
but
wasting time now. You better get started.
there you go.
Look,
That
we say we want to do something and then we don't do it till next year.
look. Here's the thing. I'm sitting here. In this space, you're the producer, the host. You doing it
Oh
all.
God,
I'm
man.
taking notes, and I'm like, wait, this is okay. Boom, this is social gym. Wait, this is a
Look.
social gym. Like, Dan, you making this difficult.
Dang, look, I
You
already
know,
know you gotta clip it out. Look.
and look, I can't clip out the whole show because I'm not going to see the whole show. But there's so many nuggets, and that's what I love about this. And I'm so happy that we got to catch up because there's going to be so
Definitely.
many gems that people, and I know I said that before, but so many gems people could take away from this and just advance themselves and just feel better
Yeah.
about themselves.
Definitely. I just hope people know, like, last thing, I just want people to really understand is like, you just do not have to journey through this life alone. So just get involved in a community, like wherever you are, whether it's your Bible study, whether it's the community in your school or the community at work, like get involved somewhere. And I promise you, like that community will elevate you and heal you. And I feel like that's what really saved me. So get involved. You don't have to journey through life alone, man. We here for you.
We are here for you. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all are following Danielle at Danielle J. Martin TV everywhere. I promise you. Subscribe to our content. Make sure you 5-star ratings, likes, anything you
Subscribe on
can do.
YouTube.
Yes. Anything you could do to make the algorithm go up, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a couple extra YouTube, you got a lot of Google, since everything is on, so I'm making sure I'm subscribed from all of them,
Right. We just need like one button, like
yeah, because I'm gonna make sure from the wrestling show, from my personal YouTube, from the business YouTube, from my work YouTube. So
look, we
that's
got
what happens
it all,
with Google
man.
owns everything, But Dale, thank you so much for coming on.
Brian.
Being a part of breaking through glass ceilings with new projects.
Let's
I'm
go.
pretty sure we're gonna have a part 3 because you're gonna keep elevating. So
we already know.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, do not let anyone place a ceiling above your success. So long, everybody. Hello, everyone. You may have heard that Breaking Through Glass Ceilings has recently partnered with Symphony of Balloons. Symphony of Balloons offers luxury balloons for your event as well as a 360 booth. So, if you're looking to save money, simply mention that you heard about this service on Breaking Through Glass Ceilings, and you can save 10% on your order.
What up? It's your boy Blue Magic, owner of For Your Wear and one half of the Mixed Tag Show. Now, I know you've seen the announcements from some of your favorite podcasts in wrestling. I decided to expand my business to become a vendor so that people from the wrestling community have a better way to communicate with some of their favorites. So check out foryourwear.com and see if your favorite podcast on wrestling has partnered up with me. If not, let them know that they should. Also, if you're looking for a vendor for your merchandise, reach out to me at Blue Magic Grind, spell how it sound on Twitter and Instagram, or at ForYourWear, FORURWEAR, on Twitter and on Instagram. Shout out to Brian H. Waters and Breaking Through Glass Ceilings. Their merchandise are already up, and they're one of the first ones that's reported, so go support them. All right? Peace.